Hey everyone, how are you all doing? Today I'm taking a look at the Marvel Legends X-Men the Animated Series Cel-Shaded Hasbro Pulse exclusive Cyclops, and we've been waiting for this Cyclops in so many ways for such a long time. We've been waiting for the Cel-Shaded Cyclops, we've been waiting for that for like a year now, maybe, but more importantly, we've been waiting for not only a redo of the Jim Lee Cyclops, but we're waiting for them to finally put Scott on the correct body, because for the longest time he was on the Bucky Cap mold, and it's such an outdated mold at this point, and it's just not great. And we finally got him on the Vulcan mold of all things, which, that's kind of funny because they are part of the same family. But yeah, without further ado, let's get into this Scott by taking a look at what he comes with first, of course, as always. So as you can see, he does have two fists. Then he does come with a pair of relaxed hands, which did come with Vulcan as well, and they are these really, really big, for some reason, hands. I don't know why, but they are. They're just massive, and I really don't know why, because if I bring in, let's see, where's a hand that I could bring in? Let's bring in this Spider-Man. I mean, look at this thing. He's got like a catcher's mitt for a hand. That thing's massive. I don't know why it's like that, but whatever. And then he also does come with it wouldn't be Cyclops without it. He's got to have the Power Blast hand, or whatever you want to call it. But yeah, this looks really good as well. I do like this. It's not bad. All his hands have the back and forth hinge as well. But now let's get into the detail on Scott. And this is obviously cel shaded, so he does have quite a lot of cel shading throughout, but it is very easy to take off if you are wanting to do that. All you gotta do is just take a Q-tip and some nail polish remover, and you're good as gold. But I do like how this looks. And I do actually have some ideas to fix the head, because a lot of people have actually had his like visor piece be all warped and all that stuff, and it looks bad on a lot of people's. Mine, thankfully, is not like that, so the only thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to change the color of the hair, because I'm not the biggest fan of this super bright brown. I know that that is what he looks like in the animated show, but I also don't have such a huge attachment to that show. So I just kind of want his hair to look a little bit darker, like the Mafex one, which, speaking of the Mafex one, I did heat up and pull out the piece for his neck, so it actually can fit on this. So if you do have that Mafex figure, it actually looks pretty good on here, so you can have him screaming, you can have the blast effects, all that good stuff. So just keep that in mind. It's actually really not that hard to do, too. So yeah, but I think this actually looks really good if you do this. Proportion-wise, it might be a little small, because usually Marvel Legends, they typically have bigger heads. They have more of a comic book type proportion, but it's not bad. But something even cooler about this Scott is that they actually made his harness piece, all of it is connected to the body itself. I think they either glued it or it's recessed in the torso, or both, but it's really awesome because everything that he has, it's not loose. Other than his actual wrist pieces, these little cuffs are the only thing that's loose on him. Everything else is tight, so that's really nice, because I know a lot of people who have that Bucky Cap Jim Lee Scott, it doesn't, like, all of his things slide around and everything, and a lot of people had to glue him down, or they just hate the figure because of having to do that, which is more than understandable. But they really did that on this one. It's really good. The cel shading also isn't as bad as a lot of people, I feel like, because I know there are a lot of people that actually really do shit on the cel shading, but I personally don't mind it. I don't think it's bad. I think it just adds a little bit more depth to the figure, And it's not like it's too much to where you couldn't put it in a display with something else, because, I mean, really, the only thing that you can go, oh, okay, so there's a little bit of cel shading where it's very noticeable is, it's not even really noticeable right here on the belt, but his glove, which honestly you could just turn that if you really wanted to, so you didn't have to see it. But like, just on the yellow parts, honestly, is really where it's the most noticeable, but it's not that big of a deal in my opinion. But looks good on the back as well. I think he has a little bit of cel shading just throughout, like, this one arm, and then a little bit on the legs, but it's really not as noticeable, especially under these lights. You can kind of see it on his upper thighs, but you really only notice it on the yellow. Everything else doesn't look as prominent as, like, Jean, because Jean, if I bring her in real quick from that, you can see hers a little bit, because they obviously did a whole lot more for her torso and stuff, but that also just looks like a design choice for her actual costume. But I think these two look great together. And thankfully as well, when it comes to his X-Men logos, they're Very well done. There's no paint bleed or anything. I got very lucky with this. I haven't seen if anyone else has actually had any problems with the X-Men logos, but these look so good. I love this. They're really the only thing that is a little off. It's just the visor, and the only reason it looks off is because if you look at the hard plastic one from the Mafex one, it's perfect, and then this isn't as perfect, but it's really close. I think it looks great. And for instance, if I bring in the House of X, House Powers, whatever you want to call it, version of Scott, which I love this costume, by the way, and I would like to see this version on this body, but I think this looks good too. So let's see, if you wanted to take an old Cyclops head, let's see how it would work on the Bucky Cap body. I don't know why that just fell right over, but let's see. I think so. It does. Oh yeah, okay, cool. It actually does fit on there. So if you wanted to make a custom, you absolutely could. I think this looks very good, actually. I'd love to see an Astonishing X-Men Cyclops on this body. I think that would look really good. And now going over his articulation, his head can go up that far. It's pretty good. Go down all the way. Awesome. Got a little bit of tilt for some little bit of cockiness, just a little rotate. His shoulders go out and up that far, which is really good. They go back that far because I haven't done the mod for his torso, and I don't know if I will because it's Scott. He doesn't really need to have super acrobatic stuff, I guess. Can go that far forward, pretty good. His arms can rotate all the way around. He's got bicep swivel, double jointed elbows that go up all the way, really good. As I said earlier, all of his hands do have the back and forth hinge, but then of course they all rotate. As for his torso, it can go that far forward. It thankfully is not hindered by his belt at all. And then going back, it is a little hindered by his belt because of it running into it right there, but not bad. He's got rotation, again, not hindered by the belt, thankfully. His legs go out really far. They go forward that much and back just a little bit. He's got thigh swivel, perfect cut right here at the bands on his legs. He's got double jointed knees that go up that far, can easily kick his own ass. He's got boot swivel. His feet go back that far, up that far, and then of course, ankle pivot. And now onto some size comparisons. First off, here he is next to the Bucky Cap Scott, which, I mean, you can just tell this new one is just so much better than the Bucky Cap mold version. It's just so much better in terms of all of it, honestly. And then next to the Cel-Shaded Jean, which is the only Cel-Shaded figure that I have other than this Scott. And I think this looks pretty good. I definitely do. And I cannot wait for that Dark Phoenix, because as soon as I get that Dark Phoenix, this thing is going away. I don't know where it's going, but I'm never going to see it again. And then here he is next to the Mezco Wolverine and the Mafex Cyclops, and his head's kind of sitting and wobbling a little bit because as I said, I took out the insert piece for it. But this is so much better than this. I like this. It's not bad, but this is honestly perfect for me. And then here's the 20th anniversary Captain America and the Retro Sentinel, which I do like these Retro Sentinels. I just picked up a couple of them. I really like them. I like that they're tall, but not too tall, and which I know is not really a thing for Sentinels, but you know, for figure photography, it's a lot easier when they're just slightly taller instead of being behemoths, you know, that only their hand or finger fit inside the frame. But this looks really good. I like this. I think this looks good. And then to bring in T'Challa, who is also on the Vulcan body, I think this looks good. I think that Scott actually is like a tad taller than him as well. And I think he has enough stuff on the body to where you don't just look at it and immediately go, ooh, Scott and Black Panther look like they're the same exact size, you know? I think it works. I think it looks really good. And I really do love this body. I hope that they continue to use it for a lot of other characters. Overall, though, I really do like this figure. I think he is a absolute fine addition to the shelf, especially because of the fact that we finally got a pinless Cyclops. He's on a better body. He just has a presence. He has a lot more of a leader. He has that Cyclops presence more so than all the other Cyclopses we've gotten before, because he's bigger, he's broader, he's pinless, which is always nice. He just looks like the leader of the X-Men. You know, I can't really put into words anything other than that. He looks like he's just ready. It's a great figure, and I'm so excited to have it. I do wish he would have come with an alternate head, so like we didn't have to use the Mafex one, you know, and do all that stuff to it, because you can definitely, it's not that hard to heat that up and pop it out if you do have it. So you can put the, I always want to call it the Omega Beam, but you can put his beam, you know, head on there and stuff like that and make it look good. But we shouldn't have to do that. I think Cyclops should just come standard with a power effect head, because it's his whole thing, you know, like other than him being a leader, that's his power. He should definitely come with that. That would be basically like if Wolverine didn't come with claws, you know what I mean? So yeah, that's going to do it for me, and I will catch you all in the next one. See ya.